In this module, I want to talk about article marketing. Now, article marketing has taken a beating in recent history. Gone are the days where you could, just write lots and lots and lots of articles and drive lots and lots of traffic. Now, this is because of the dreaded Penguin and Panda updates. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I am no SEO expert, as you will find out as you go through this program. But what I do know is the ways article marketing used to work, where you would submit lots of articles and get lots and lots of backlinks, don't work anymore. Google have changed the way they do things, and basically lots of backlinks just doesn't work, especially if the content is the same, which is how article marketing used to work. So the days of mass submitting articles are long gone. Okay, it's not possible to use the old methods that used to work. However, you can still drive traffic from articles, and I still drive traffic to this day from my article marketing. You just need to do things a little bit differently. Okay, now I'm going to talk about that now. First of all, make sure your articles are 100% unique and at least 400 words long. Don't go getting anything that's PLR and then just mixing it up a little bit. It has to be 100% your own work. And the reason you want to be at least 400 words is the major article directories need to have articles that's at least 400 words. If they are not, they will be rejected. Okay. Now, the big one now, and this is something I've always done anyway, but not a lot of people did, and that is you need to write for people and not for search engines. The old methods, some people would maybe do keyword research and make sure there were certain keyword terms in the article, just to get the pick up the traffic from Google and get the backlink. I never ever have wrote like that anyway. I write for people. I want someone to read my article, and then I want them to actually want to find out more about me, which is the whole point of article writing. You want to do something that's interesting to read, and then at the end, obviously, when you get to your bio box, you want them to click the link to go back to your site, offer, or whatever. So, write for people. Don't write for search engines, because when you write an article anyway, the keywords will naturally appear. No matter what topic you are writing about, you don't have to think about putting keywords in. They will appear as you write naturally. And that's what Google wants. The reason Google did these recent updates is because they want people to find the relevant information they are searching for, not something that people are doctoring. Okay, so just remember that. In fact, anything to do with your content, forget about the search engines. Okay, just write what you would normally write, and then the traffic will come. Now, one article writing method I used to like doing was a 10 tips method. It doesn't have to be 10 tips, it can be any number, 5 tips, 7 tips. For example, 10 ways to lose weight fast, 7 exercises to a flatter, firmer stomach, 10 instant traffic driving techniques, things like that. If you can come up with something along those lines, and then just think of how many methods you can think of. For example, how many different ways do you think you could come up with to drive traffic? Well, obviously you're going to learn tons here, but if you can come up with 5 off the top of your head and write about it, that's an article. Okay, so that's a very, very good way to do this. Another way to do this is to do this in 3 sections. So when you write an article, think of it this way. You start your article by saying, here's what I'm going to tell you. So, for example, let's use the fat loss method example. Hi, in this article, I'm going to tell you 5 ways that you can lose fat fast. These methods are tried and tested and work every time. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to tell you. So then you actually go into the actual methods. One way to lose fat fast is not to eat so many crisps. I know that's obvious, but then you go into the writing about that method, then obviously the other methods. But do you get what I mean? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Now I'll tell you. And can you guess what the last thing is? Here's what I just told you. So then you go to, yeah, I hope you enjoyed these 5 fat busting methods, blah, blah, blah. Then you go into what you just told them. Think about that for a moment. You're sort of repeating what you say, but then it's easy to get the 400 words out. So you have a paragraph saying what you're going to tell people, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs telling them, and a final paragraph saying, here's what I just told you. That's a simple method to writing articles. Now, of course, the whole point of an article is to get people to look at your bio box and then actually click the link in there to go back to your offer. So your bio box is actually where you sell yourself. So you've got to make sure you get this part right, because this is where you can drive traffic to your offer. Now, my advice is to keep the bio box short and sweet. I've seen articles where the bio box is almost an article in itself. Just keep it short and sweet. For example, if I wrote a traffic article and I wanted to drive people to maybe Simple Traffic Solutions sales page or a squeeze page, it would be just short and sweet. John Thornhill has drove over 2 billion page impressions to his websites. Do you want to see how he does it? Visit this link. Think about that. You just read that. You've just read a traffic related article. Simple. You can notice there I asked a question. Do you want to see how he does it? That's what I tend to do with most of my quick signatures and things like that. Ask a question. Do you want to learn more? Do you want to find out more? Do you want to see how it's done? Those sort of questions, and then just tell them, go to this website to find out more. And that could be your offer, your squeeze page, your blog, whatever. Now, when you're actually submitting your articles, do not mass submit. Remember, the days of mass submission are long gone. It doesn't work anymore because of the way Google have changed things. You actually get penalized the more you submit. Only submit your articles to the top directories, directories such as e-zine articles. I mean, that's the big one for me, and it doesn't do any harm just to submit to that one. And then you can try and get your articles in other areas instead of just concentrating on doing article directories. Try and get your articles into other areas. Methods which I cover in this program. Blogs, your blog, maybe a guest post. Obviously, if you do a guest post, you won't submit it as an article. Okay, that's covered in the guest blogging section. Forums. Some forums have sections where you can submit your articles, or you could just submit it as a tip. Obviously, if you were in let's say I went to the Warrior forum and I wanted to give people 5 top tips for driving traffic, that could have been an article I've submitted, but there's nothing wrong with putting it in the Warrior forum as well, because I'm actually giving people good advice. News groups, the same sort of thing as forums. If it's something that's going to give value to people, there's no harm in doing that. Because remember, we are writing for people, not search engines. Now let's give article marketing our traffic rating. I'm going to give implementation 3 stars. It's actually not too hard to get started writing articles. All you have to do is write an article and you can be up and running. But this is obviously something you have to keep working on. It's not just something you can do once and then forget, okay, like most things. But, it's not too hard to get going. Speed of results. Now, I've only gave this 2 stars, but, this depends on where your articles actually appear. I mean, you have to remember that when you submit an article to an article directory, other people can actually take those articles and put them on their newsletters, websites, whatever. And it all depends who gets hold of it and who maybe distributes it. Okay. Now, although I've only gave this 2 stars, this could be 5 stars if the right people, get hold of your material. But the thing with article marketing is it's something you have to keep working at, especially if you are submitting to directories. So, don't expect the traffic to be coming in overnight. It's something that you build over time. Work involved, again, I gave this a 2-star rating, okay? Because obviously it's something you have to keep working at. This is something you can outsource, but it's something where if you want to get the best results, you should do it yourself. Now, if you really wanted to work hard at article marketing, you need to be writing maybe 1 or 2 articles per day, sometimes more. So there is a lot of work involved, but the more work you put in, obviously, the greater the rewards are. Now, overall, I'm only going to give article marketing a 2-star rating, simply because of the way the methods have changed. I don't use article marketing like I used to. If I write a good article, I'm more geared towards putting it on my blog or trying to get it to appear as a guest post rather than submitting it to article directories. And for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to give article marketing a 2-star rating.